Dear students and my viewers to my channel Mathematics Made Easy, this is Ms. Ruchika welcoming you to the session today. Today is part 3 of lesson 8-2 ellipses for all my grade 10 elite math students. So they were requesting me for more videos on the conic section. So today I'm here with another video on ellipse, which is on the concept of questions where you have to find the equation of ellipse by completing the squares problem. I've been spending a lot of time and effort on making these videos daily for you, so I hope you are finding them useful, and do watch the videos till the end and give that thumbs up if you have liked them and if they are useful to you. And before we go on further to this video, I would like to give you a humble reminder to please like, share and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss notifications about my upcoming video. Another reminder here is that to watch this video which I have made for my grade 9 elite students, this is useful for my grade 10 elite students also on the topic of completing the square. So after you watch this video, I will put the link in the description box. You'll be able to understand today's video on ellipses much better. Okay, so let's now solve this question. First, I'm going to read it loud and clear for you. So here you need to graph an ellipse. And first you need to find the coordinates of the center and the foci and the lengths of the major and minor axes of an ellipse with the equation which is given to you. Now, in this equation, as I told you, we are going to be using completing the squares method. So first step would be to rewrite the equation in standard form, and for doing that we are going to use completing the square. So if you observe this equation carefully, as you see I've highlighted here in red and blue, there are two terms related to x variable, two terms related to variable y. So that means we are going to take the common factors first for the first two terms of x, so that's 25 in the bracket, you have x squared plus 10x left, and then for y terms also you take 9 outside, so you're left with y squared minus 4y. Right hand side remains the same, there is no change, so it's negative 436. Now we are going to use here completing the square method two times, one time here in this bracket, second time here in this bracket. So if you recall the three steps that are shown in the grade 9 video, first you look at the value of b. So for this, ax squared plus bx, b is 10, then you divide by 2, that's 5, and then in step 3, the last step, you take its square and add and subtract the value. So 25 is the number which will be added and subtracted in the first bracket. Now coming to the second one, here the value of b is negative 4, so b divided by 2 is negative 2, and b divided by 2 square is 4. So again 4 is the number which will be added and subtracted. So if you are still thinking where these numbers came from, 25 and 4, then I've already given you the answer here. And also in the video that I have made for grade 9, you will be looking at the two algebraic identity which you grade 10s already know, but in case you have forgotten, you will refer to that video which is in the description box in the beginning of this video and use it for completing the square. So in the first bracket I have used a plus b whole square, in the second one I have used a minus b whole square. So that completes the square. Now you will open up the brackets and do the multiplication. Now you combine the like terms. So we are going to get rid of this 625 and then we'll get rid of this 36. So we add these two numbers on both sides and the equation simplifies to this. Now I hope you remember the standard form of ellipse. So that always has on the right side number 1. That means we need to divide now by 225 so that the right side becomes 1, and now you have your ellipses in standard form. Next step, now that you have got your ellipse in standard form, is step 2 where you need the center. I'll highlight. Then you need foci, you need the length of major and the minor axis of the ellipse. So for center, you are going to compare h and k value. So the standard form is x minus h whole square. So compare it with x plus 5 whole square and then y minus k whole square compare with y minus 2 whole square. So your h is negative 5 and your k is 2. So the center is negative 5 comma 2. Now step 3, length of major and minor axis. For that you need the value of a, so that you do the formula and do the major and minor axis. So the denominator with x here is the value of b, so b square is 9. Denominator of the y term is a square, so here it is a square. So a is 5, b is 3. Now the length of major axis by the formula is 2a, length of minor axis is 2b, so you get your answer. Next come vertices. Again we are using the formula sheet. If you remember my first video on ellipses, I will put that also in the description box. Make sure you visit it. And there I had given you the formula sheet for finding the vertices, the co-vertices. So we have used that here to find these coordinates. So now that we have all of this, the last step is to find the foci and then do the graph. So A and B already you got. Let's find C. So for C, you plug in the values of A square, B square, and your C comes out to be 4. So accordingly, the coordinates of the foci are negative 5 and 6, negative 5 and negative 2. Do learn the formula sheet. It's very, very important, so that when you get a question like this where you need to graph, you are not confused about the coordinates, and then you just on the graph plot these points one by one. So we have plotted the foci, the vertices, the co-vertices, and then we connect those dots with the ellipse. So this is Okay, so let's now solve some questions together. So from this slide, we'll be solving question guided practice 4a right now. And B part you will try as your homework. So here you need to find the coordinates of the center, foci, lengths of the major and the minor axis. And then finally you need to graph the ellipse. All of these steps you need to do in this question. And you can check your answers. Here I've given you the final answer. Now I'm also going to show you the formula sheet just to remind you of the formulas. I hope you have learned them by now. This is how the formula sheet looks. I have taken this from my first video on ellipse. I hope you have seen that video and found it useful. So I would recommend you to learn this formula sheet in case it is not provided by the ministry in your exam. So now your exams are 2 weeks away, so give it your best shot and do learn them. It will be very handy to solve questions. Okay, so let's do step 1, which is to complete the squares and to write the equation of the ellipse in the standard form. So for that, I take the x square terms together, 3x square minus 6x, and I take the y terms together, which is y square minus 8y, put them in bracket. The number which is extra, negative 5, we take it on the other side, it becomes positive 5. Now what is common in here? 3. So we take it out. We are left with x square minus 2x. And this is already not having any term common, so we can proceed for the square. The value of b here is negative 8 divided by 2 is 4 and its square is 16. So I know we are going to add 16 and we are going to subtract 16 from here. Okay, now here for this one again your b is negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. Its square is 1, so the term which will be added and subtracted to complete the square will be 1 here. So now I can combine this, this and this to write y minus 4 whole square. So this is a square plus b square minus 2ab. This negative 16 is extra. In next step I'm going to move it on the other side, and for this side these three terms add up to give you x minus 1 whole square. So looks like we are coming closer to the standard form of an ellipse. You have a 3 multiplied with negative 3, so negative 3 with negative 16, negative 19 extra here, which in the next step is going to move here to give you 19 plus 5, which is 24. Now, in order to convert to the last step of standard form of an ellipse, we have to make the right side 1. So we divide by 24 both sides. Now that we have divided, on the right we have 1 and on the left we have x minus 1 whole square over 8 plus y minus 4 whole square over 24. So that's the standard form. We put it in the box. And now, since you observe that the number below the y square term is more than the number below the x square term, so we know the major axis is vertical and this is the standard form of ellipse. And what kind of ellipse it is? It is a vertical ellipse. Okay, because 24 is more than 8. So now we are done with the standard form. Step 1 is done. Now we need center, we need focus, we need length of major and minor axis of this ellipse, and finally we need the graph. So let's do it in the next slide. Okay, so if we use the formula sheet well, we know a square is 24. From the previous slide, b square is 8. So you should be able to find your c square, which is a square minus b square. So 24 minus 8, which is 16. So your c square is 16, implies your c is plus minus 4. Okay, now we need to find also center. We need to find foci, we need to find vertices, and we need to find co-vertices. So all of this is required for the graph. So center is h comma k, focus. So I am taking all of these formulas from the formula sheet, just copying them down, and then we'll plug in the values. So h comma k from the previous slide, because your x minus 1 whole square had been there, so your h is 1 and your k is 4. Now plug in the value. C is 4, so here it is going to be 1 comma 4 plus minus 4. So the two coordinates will be 1 comma 8 and 1 comma 0. So you can check your answer. For vertices you need the square root, so this is actually 1 comma 4 plus minus square root of 24, and this is 1 plus minus square root of 8 by 4. So now it's easy to check your answer. So this is how the graph will look like. Please check your answer, find the major and the minor axis also. Major axis is 2 times A, minor axis is 2 times B. Then you join the dots, your vertices and co-vertices, and get the vertical ellipse. I hope you've understood how you solve the long question on ellipse using completing the square and finding the coordinates of center, focus, vertices, and co-vertices. So that brings us to the end of today's session. If you've liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. Do comment if you have any questions and query, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel, as I'm putting a lot of efforts for making daily videos for all my students. Let me know which topic more you want and spread the word to your friends who you feel will benefit from the video. Until then, this is Mr. Chika signing off from today's session. See you in my next video. Bye students.